This for 3 years. Good morning from the Yarn Closet in St. David, Arizona. We have to be careful because I'm not wearing a bra, because whoever actually wears a bra, I bet the majority of women haven't worn a bra since March of 2020. I am Yarn Closet AZ on Instagram, the Yarn Closet over on Patreon. You can follow for free. Look at the babies. I'm trying to convince Dad. Hi, Chip. Okay, Chip's not real fond of our new big dog, Rusty, but you would like a little girlfriend, wouldn't you? There's a little 9-year-old girl poodle. There's a little 9-year-old girl poodle at the pound. Magnus, we already got you a friend. His name is Rusty. And I just gave him a bath with Pantene. Oh my God. Oh, it's so wonderful. Anyway, the Yarn Closet over on Patreon. Look, I rearranged. So that actually is a Murphy bed. It folds into a box. You can kind of see the sides right there. So it folds up into a box. And then I have more space over there. But the kids kind of like having it out. And because we have so many stinking dogs now, my husband and I occasionally, do you guys want to go outside? Occasionally sleep somewhere else. See, and this is Sadie. Sadie would like to not be the only girl. Magnus is saying hello. Hello to the people. All right, are you going outside? Look, it's Chip. Chip! Chip's a stinker. He likes to fake people out. Okay, then be quiet. I'm podcasting. Magnus. So, see? One of my favorite things. That's the original outside wall of the original mobile home. This is all an addition. Shush. So then this corner over here is now like more secondary living room. Sadie, stop. Look. Ambiance. Because we finally figured out, okay, we just turned on the gas heater and burnt off that stinky smell. Say, did you need to go outside? Nobody, do you want to go outside? All right, coming outside? Rusty will go outside. Rusty always goes outside. Come on, Rusty, they're all just being stinkers. I don't know what the deal is with these dogs. So anyway, I'm trying to convince my husband to get another little one. I mean, why not? What does it matter at this point? Seriously, what does it matter? Okay. It's a yarn podcast. It's not a dog podcast. It's not a decoration podcast. And it's not a brush your hair podcast, okay? We're supposed to be getting snow tonight and all day tomorrow, like 3 inches of snow. I live about an hour and a half from Mexico, people. But I'm from Minnesota, so I'm quite happy. Oh, darn it. We have to go for a walk again. Because I don't have my little clicker to turn you on and off, and I'm just being lazy. So the dogs like it when I walk around. I need to take them on walk now, but I have to do it in like parcels, like this one and that one and the other one, because if I take them all at once, last week my neck got so screwed up because Rusty can finally walk on a leash. So I've been getting him out on walks, but he's only about 50 pounds, about half as much as Magnus. But he pulls as much as Magnus because he's young. And my neck has been out. I mean, this is the first morning I'm feeling halfway decent. Oi, oi, oi. Look at this. I have to do some repair on that. And then okay. because that's the only spot that hasn't been seamed together yet. I still do need to block the thing, but do you see? Do you see? Can I set this up in such a way? Oh yeah, I have this cute little table now. Maybe that can do it. See? See? Why does it look so different? They're actually supposed to be the same. Everything seemed to be the same. Oh, it's because this sleeve is not yet attached, I bet. I bet it'll hang differently when that happens. Probably won't. Darn it. Maybe it'll work itself out in blocking. Why does that look so significantly different? Because it's really not. I laid it all out. It's fine. I'm not hunchbacked. Yeah, so I kind of like it. I kind of like it a lot. I might try to make my friend one without the big hole and bad knitting. She is like a Barbie doll. She is like so pretty, and her kids are stunning. And she probably brushes her hair every day or before she lets people see her. I just love that I have this little stool here by my new setup. So what I did was I took two of my bookcases and I put them on their sides so that I can now see the world that's happening in this room when I a dog in a sweater's like knitting content, right? And I really love it. It really is nice to be able to be right here and see the kids and kind of feel like I'm more part of the room. Plus, when I do put the bed in its box form, then they've got more room to screw around and play and stuff. So that's nice. I won't be podcasting for long. So we can go to Tucson in a little bit for the dog. So, yeah. So this is knitting related, right? Knitting related? Okay. Oy, it's really cold. Okay, I'm going to show you something else. I know, don't be dizzy. Don't be dizzy. So this was supposed to be a poncho, very easy style. But somehow, some stuff got mucked up there and here. So I'm just going to try to breeze through it, finish it, bind it off, see if I can fix it. And if I can fix it, great. If I can't fix it, then I'll just unravel it. But it's just practice. And as far as that goes, I love my new setup in the other room for my new vintage knitting machine. But guess what? I'm probably getting rid of it. So if anybody wants one, it's a 5mm Empasol Knitmaster 100, Mod 100. But I'm getting a 250 carriage because that also works with it. The difference there being there's a holding position because there's 4 different positions for the needles on the bed. And see the needles on the bed? There's 4 different positions for the needles on the bed. And it will knit off at any position, whereas the original carriage will only knit off in 2 positions. So, but I'm just not, I'm not being real successful with it. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if basically I need to clean it more. My husband and I have both done various cleaning to it. I kind of think that I'm having the same issue that I had with the circular sock machine, being that I could just do a panel on it, but the manipulation becomes more difficult because the needle size is so much smaller. And So like if I got a new circular sock machine that's like Dreaming Robots, the eel wheel guy is looking at making one. It will be a much cheaper one. I might get that, but all I would do is crank tubes on it for leggings, warm cuffs, whatever. And so to have that vintage machine and to know that it has functionality to do so much more than I'm actually doing with it, regardless of how much I paid for it, because that one was pretty inexpensive. I just, I'm in that beginning of the year, let's minimize and clean out. So you would have thought we did that most of that before we moved, but it's shocking how many things we've acquired since then, that mom has said, oh, here, take this. Oh, here, take that. Well, and then grandma died, so then we had to take some stuff there. And Christmas and all the other stuff. My daughter being in school, so, grandma gets her a bunch of clothes that she really didn't need. So anyway, I just don't want to have extra because I only have space to have 2 out, and I have this big machine back here, and I have another small machine that could go up front that I would actually get a lot more use out of because it's a larger gauge. And I know a lot of you are not machine knitters, but we're all learning new things during this time in our life, right? I mean, I'm not a quilter, but I like listening to Amy Beth talk about her quilting and see her excited. I really just want to see how this poncho functions. Like if I wear it exactly the way I knit it with the opening here, how far does it hang down? And how far, using just 2 skeins of Mandala, will it fall, having done nothing but simple stockinette with a slit opening? Now here's the deal. If that doesn't quite work, I'm going to switch it so the slit is going this way and see what that does to it. Because wouldn't that be great to have a really, really simple pattern? Oh, I know, it's my neck and shoulders, people. It's just, oy, oy, oy. And maybe I will learn that I just need to use more skeins, because I think if I had 4 skeins, then it would definitely be big enough and feel like you're walking around in a blanket, which I think would be really nice right now. Hi, Tiff. Hi, Tiffy Tiff. Hi. Okay, you got down. So, so that's in my thought process. What am I doing? And this is because I lost my glasses in the leaves when I was raking. And then the other glasses that I got don't fit quite right. These actually stay on quite nicely. So even though it might not be the most attractive thing in the world, because doing this is also not the most attractive thing in the world, because this is my thinning old lady hair. You see that? That's gray, isn't it? Yeah, that's not actually highlights. So, back in screen. Get focused. So anyway, that's what's going on in my knitting life. I am still not done with my strong heel sock. I did a little Rose City Rollers-esque shorty sock with what's called a strong heel. A strong heel is the name of the woman who actually came up with it. Okay, so it's not a flap and a gusset, it's just a gusset. But honestly, I found it so much easier. And look at that. There's no real gunkus. It's a little bit not tight here or here, one of the sides. But this is 2 strands of fingering, 48 stitch. I should have made a little bit more here. It would fit better, but I do just love it. I'm just decreasing on the toe right now, and cannot wait to get a set of these, because I'm hoping that they will stand up better. And I took my last stimulus check and I bought some yarn. in hopes of also having some stuff that maybe stands up better to footwear. And this is my Maritime Family Fiber. Theirs is more woolen. It's more like a Jameson, whatever. You know, it's a little bit scratchy, but once you wash this stuff, it fluffs up, and once you block it, and it's really not, I mean, I would wear it, and I'm very sensitive. I would wear it next to skin, like with this shirt, with these sleeves, you know, exposed, and I don't think I'd have a problem. But I'm doing this little raglan from the top down. Just because I love knitting with this stuff. And I don't wear a lot of the sweaters that I've knit. And now that I live somewhere cold, I want to have sweaters to wear. And then here, I have started just some, I think what I'm going to do is cut it in half and make it just a shorty, either wrist warmer or ankle warmer. Because I don't really need the long leggings, leg warmers, but I like the short ones because sometimes, you know, I like to buy those cheaper leggings that are all cotton and they tend to shrink up. So after a while, you get to a point where if you wear shorty socks, you get a little gap. And that bothers me. So I'm going to probably go in half here and just make a pair, and then I have one more tube the same size, so I might try to find a green or something to do the same thing with the other one. So that's 3 hand knitting projects, 1 machine knit finishing, 1 I have to finish on here, and then I have more finishing work. And yes, I used the linker for this sleeve. See? Is this the linkered part? Which part is the linkered part? Okay, this is the part I knit off the machine, and then this half was linked. And you can't even, nope, yep, exactly. You really can't even tell. I love that linker. It seems insane, but I bought a used one. It was in very good condition, so I got it for less than half of what you'd pay for a new one. Yeah, I suppose part of this looks a little not great, but it's on the back. So I'm not too worried about it. I mean, this is mine, my prototype. I will actually wear this regardless of how the other sleeve turns out. But I am going to make one for my friend. And I did pretty much write down the pattern, so I think I can repeat it. Oh, God, are you hearing the cracks? Oh, my God, oh, my God, my God. So this has not been a long podcast. I will probably add to this because I am only posting the podcast every 2 weeks now. I can't keep up with that weekly thing. It just adds too much. I realized yesterday that I am getting really anxious on Sundays for my daughter to go to school on Monday because my son was bullied so horrendously at his Christian school, and no matter what I did or what I said, they didn't stop it. I've even contemplating sending a letter, but I don't know that that would do any good, so it might just be pointless. But I'm realizing I'm holding on to some of that anxiety for her. I mean, she stayed home from school last Thursday because she just said that she wasn't feeling great. But there was no temperature. There was no swollen glands. So I was a little worried maybe that something was going on, and we talked about it, and I think she would just, needed a day off. But she could have gone back the following day. Instead, she had to wait then Thursday day off. Friday is her home day, Saturday, Sunday. And so she was ready to go. I just am still holding on to that mom stuff, you know? I want to let it go. I really want to let it go. Because there's too much going on in the world right now. We don't need to be hanging on to any extra stuff. And anytime you are like anxious and stressed about one thing, then the next thing you're anxious and stressed about is more magnified. And so we really just need to stop. But I might add on a little bit to the end of this before I actually post it next Sunday, which will be, I think, February 2nd. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to be posting like on Sunday mornings. That's my plan anyway. And I'm hoping to add some snow play in Arizona on here tomorrow. So we will talk to you soon. Look with your heart first, not your eyes. Your eyes, no, your heart. Good morning from the Yarn Closet in St. David, Arizona. Yes, I brushed my hair, but I took a nap already. I'm posting this later than I want to. This is the final wrap up for this week. It is Sunday morning, and yeah, I was up early. And I'll post it later on Sunday, but it doesn't post very quickly when I do that, but we'll see. This feels thin. Does it look thin? It feels thin. I did not finish that long cardigan. I still just have one chunk to deal with, but it's a big chunk. I've been trying to do this thing. Have you watched The Minimal Mom? Love her YouTube. Love her and her sister. They're twins. They're crazy. And her husband, Tom. Okay. I have a similar Tom-esque husband. He does a lot of the projects that I want done. Where'd my coffee go? Hold. Okay, I'll try to talk slower. My husband has just taken the kids to the wash, though, so I don't know how long I have. Could be 40 minutes. Could be less if they start arguing. Plus, I can't see you right now. So I'm legally blind, and I love spending time with you. This doesn't really help. The glasses I wear are only for magnification, because it reached a point where there was no point in anything else. Anyway, trying to talk a little bit slower. The last few days have been a heck of. The dogs are all outside, which is lovely. Pray with me. And people think we're crazy, but I think one of our coping skills throughout COVID is animal distraction. And we absolutely love our animals. So Rusty literally sleeps on a pillow on the bed right next to my husband, and my pillow is right underneath. So their two pillows are right next to the headboard. Mine is right underneath Rusty. And like last night, got up in the middle of the night with the dogs, and I took Rusty and Chip into the back room where we have a spare bed, the big, huge pink room. We have a Murphy bed back there. So he's on one pillow. That's Rusty, the new poodle. Me, and then a little Chip. You still don't feel like you have more room in our bed when you sleep with Magnus, because Magnus is 90 plus pounds and he kind of pushes on you. But anyway, Magnus is getting old and slowing down. Sadie, although her blood work is really good, is 11. And we have the space and the time to love someone else. We would like to get a friend for Chip. That's what we wanted to do originally. But then Rusty came along, and he's the best dog I have ever had my entire life. Did lots of rescue, did lots of fostering, had lots of difficult dogs, like puppy mill dogs. And once you kind of get them over the hurdle, They just love you so much. And they're just so easygoing, and they really don't expect a lot of exercise, and they really don't, they're not up for much because they're usually unhealthy, for one, because puppy mill conditions are horrendous. But anyway, so we went to the pound in Pima County and tried to get this dog, and we literally saw it walk out while we were there. Called on 2 more dogs that showed up, and there were already people there vying for them. And you want to know who's vying for them? And you want to know who had holds on all the other small dogs that I saw that day at the pound? These are dogs that come in uncertain situations, so they have a 10-day hold. And if no owner is found or whatever, then they go to who's ever put a hold on them first. Well, I found it. It's a rescue just south of us because I saw them online. Pictures of the dogs in the pound, and they're advertising them at their rescue. Our pound right now would cost $30 to $50 per dog. This rescue is asking $150 to $250, maybe even $350, and all they are going to do, one of these dogs I watched, and all they actually did was give it a haircut, because the pound already is the one who's paid for their vets to look these dogs over to make sure they're vaccinated. Sometimes these rescues will neuter them. I love rescues. I've worked with rescues. But here's the deal. Especially in the environment today where so many animals are getting rescued, so many people are looking to expand their households with animals because people are working from home. There's just something about that I don't like. And then I put out applications and said, I've seen a number of these dogs at the pound. I was there at the pound and saw them, met them, loved the personality, whatever. Here's all my information. You don't even get a response as to why they won't consider you. And then you got Lee Asher over at the Asher House, who I love. That man should take his shirt off a little more often. And he's got like 15 dogs. And he's just some single guy. And so he just can keep adopting dogs after dogs after dogs. And that somehow works. But I can't get like one more little dog. What would that matter at this point? But Chip would have a friend. Therefore, Chip would stop being ornery towards new Rusty. And he's not hurting him. He's not doing anything. He just kind of goes, argh. But it's not setting Chip for the best quality of life or Rusty. It annoys everyone. But if he had a little friend, like when we used to dog sit my ex-husband's dogs, he loved having little dogs around. Played with them, whatever. So that annoys me. That annoys me, people. Have you experienced this? Do you care? I love my dogs. They're outside right now. So I'm trying to focus. So I have done a little bit of knitting. I knitted a cowl really quick one morning because my husband went out and disc golfed with some friends. And they were not from here. So the cold snap we've had has really taken its toll on them. Look at these. So I was trying to figure out kind of man sizes. And then my husband just told me they were gay. And then this other guy that I know just said, yeah, no, I probably wouldn't wear them in public. I'd wear them at home. This thumb is a little bit too big. This one is more on par. So I might reknit this one. Or I might not if I'm the one that ends up with them. But it's a folded cuff. See? So you just knit and knit and knit, and then you fold, and then you seam it. And it's knit flat. And look at this lovely increase for the thumb. I love that thumb increase. And then it's seamed all along here. You can actually do these both hand knit or on the knitting machine. I've done them both. If you do them on the knitting machine, you do still have to knit a little bit of this thumb by hand. If you knit them flat and then seam them by knitting, you can knit this, all of this flat, and then seam all of this. It's up to you. So I've gotten that done in the last week. Still didn't get the other thing done. And then I did this in machine knitting. Found a pattern called the Pocket Poncho. Okay. So there's actually, can you tell from the seaming? There's actually a pocket in here. See this? There's a pocket in the poncho. So you could theoretically toss your phone in there if you're just on a walk out and about. And it's that style where you knit a long rectangle and then you fold it. And instead of going edge to edge, you actually, here is the edge of one piece. Here is the edge of the other piece. So you kind of pull that edge in, seam, and then seam along here. It ended up a little bit bigger than I was expecting. It needs to be washed and blocked, and that might actually shrink it up a little bit because it's got some alpaca in it. Anyway, my sister's always wanted one in this kind of style. It might be too big for her, but I don't know. She's sensible enough. She'll give it to someone else or make it smaller for herself. So I'm going to give that to her, mail that out with some pecans this week. And I finished this. I was hoping it would be leg warmery, but the bind off was just not quite enough. And these are only a 64 stitch tube. So for me, for leg warmers on a 64, I really only need it half as big. And I've started the other one, but I like them because I do tend to, a lot of the sweaters I knit are like sleeves to here. So I am trying to actually get stuff that I'm going to use myself because I want the homemade wardrobe. That is part of why I do this, but I also started crocheting shortly after I got blind and figured like gift from God. And because I was being so prolific because it was driving me nuts to be stuck at home, that I pretty much gave away everything. So I still do a lot of giveaways, but I figure I want to keep occasionally some stuff I actually use. Here's a sweater. It should be kind of big on me because I'm tiny now. Or, you know, I had that boob surgery. I have no more boobs. I mean, I'm not going to get too specific, but I lost like 5.5 inches at the biggest part of my bust. Okay. So here we go. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I originally thought at the very end that I would pick up stitches and do just a small bit of ribbing to kind of pull it in. It depends. If it fits boat necky and it's not too big, I might just leave it because I like boat necky. And this is Briggs & Little. Check them out. Maritime Family Fibers. Okay. This is more rustic, but once I wash it and block it, because I've used them before, it will be almost next to skinish. Might be a little itchy around my neck. I'm extra sensitive though. And $7 a skein. I've done other things with them, and you can easily come up with a big, small, medium, or large, just the basic sizes. And you can easily have a $30 to $50 sweater. They've also started to list some of their hand-painted stuff at only $12 a skein. And they do some machine knit gloves and socks. And I recently saw that, and so I ordered a couple. Because now I need a winter wardrobe here. Isn't that great? That's so great. So, I have a friend who's been a friend since Thanksgiving and really involved with helping me do some things with the food bank here locally, with our little pecan orchard, become a friend of my husband's with disc golfing, and he's a young guy. And you know, my mom kicks in with these young guys. And he's moving on now, and it's just, I really cried about it yesterday. I cried a little bit. I'm going to miss the guy. He's a lovely kid. You know, I really wish him well, but it's a little bit of the sadness of living here. So we live in a Mormon community, and those young people on their missions kind of come through, and there's a lot of, supposedly they turn over about every 6 weeks, go someplace new. Sometimes you get people who stay longer. COVID has done some strange things to it, but you know, they're all used to it. So they're kind of used to this transition. Well, we're not used to it. I mean, we're used to having the missionaries at some of our family functions, but we really never got to know them in the same light. And we have a 25-year-old son that we don't see often. And he's choosing to walk a different path in life. And you do that sometimes when you're young. So I think these guys just hit a chord with us. And it's been such a bizarre thing to be more closely involved with. But I really appreciate the kindness that they've put into this community, the kindness that they put into the kids. And it's neat to see them kind of blossom. One of them was like brand new at Thanksgiving when I met him. And, oh, deer in the headlights. But now that he's going off, he's a little bit more, whew, okay, this is good. It's just so neat to see. And I really love all the things about moving here. I don't think you should be afraid to move into a different place. I don't think you should be afraid to move into an environment that might have a different culture. I mean, I moved from Minnesota to Tucson, and you know, you've got a Hispanic culture there. You've still got a Hispanic culture here, Arizona, anywhere. But that was new and different. I mean, it took a long time to get used to going out shopping and hearing so much Spanish being spoken that you almost felt like a minority. It was just a turn of the coin, and I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me in the least. I think it's enriched my life. I'm certainly not complaining about it. I know I have white privilege, even as a white woman, even as a white disabled woman. I know I have that. I try to use it to help other people. Who knows if I do or I don't. And they're home. All right. Look with your heart first. I'm going to wrap this up and post it today. We will see you again in 2 weeks.